when I look at quality time with myself, what does that mean? It means present, focused, connected time. Time where I'm listening to myself.
This is The Deep Dive with Adam Roa.
What up, deep divers? Welcome to another Deep Dive Musing. I am Adam Roa. I am your host, and it's just me, you, and my brain. We're just going to muse for a bit. And today's topic is actually the secret to self-love. The secret to self-love. I'm going to give it away in this podcast. But first, I must say, please take just a moment and leave a review on this podcast. It really does help get this thing be found in all of these charts. I don't know if you know this about podcasts, but behind the scenes, there's all these charts. And when people type in things, based on the charts is how podcasts get found and the search results, and it's all of that kind of stuff. And one of the major ways in which you can help this podcast continue to spread and grow, and therefore allow me to keep doing it, is for you to just take the time to leave a review. If you're following on Spotify or iTunes, make sure you hit that subscribe, follow button. Same with YouTube. Thank you for being a part of this tribe. I appreciate you, and I'm excited to share with you the secret to self-love. The secret to self-love that I have found for myself and for everyone that I have worked with is that self-love, there is no switch. There is no self-love switch. So many people think of self-love as I either love myself or I don't. I've either flipped that self-love switch or it's still in the off position. I can't seem to love myself. And that creates this really intense negative spiral. Right? This unsupportive spiral where it's going, wow, how come I don't love myself? I've been trying this and I still don't love myself, and I still judge myself for this, and I still feel unworthy over here. And as a result of that, I must not love myself. And even though I've done all these things and taken all these courses, and because I've done that, I might as well just give up. Sound familiar? I know for me, that was a very big piece of my self-love journey, was just seeing ways in which I was judging myself or blaming myself, shaming myself for something, not forgiving myself for something that I'd been carrying on for so long. And I was doing this and thinking that if I really loved myself, I wouldn't do those things. If I really loved myself, I wouldn't do those things. And so that contributed to me feeling like a fraud. Here I am with one of the most viral motivational self-love talks ever on Facebook, and people reaching out to me every single day about self-love. I have an ebook out called Treat Yourself Like Someone You Love, where I give my 3 tools to make self-love easier. I'm going to put a link in the comments to that. It's like 99 cents. So I'm going to put a link in the description, the show notes, so you can get that if you want it. But the point is, I had all of this out around self-love. And yet when I had these moments of judgment or shame or blame, and I felt like a fraud, that would contribute to me feeling even worse. And it wasn't until I realized that self-love is the byproduct of your relationship with yourself that it switched for me. And that's why I feel like this is the secret to self-love, is an understanding that self-love is the byproduct of your relationship with yourself. Because think about people in your life who you really love. It's undeniable. You love them, whether that's your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your wife, your husband, your girlfriend, your friends, your dog, whatever it is, someone that you really love in your life. Do you never get frustrated with them? Do you never see something they're doing and think, ooh, I wouldn't do that? Or that's pretty stupid. Don't do that. Have a little bit of judgment? Do you never blame someone you love for a result that you didn't want? I know that when I was growing up, I blamed my mom for lots of stuff, and I didn't stop loving her ever. So understand that just like every other loving relationship in your life, there are going to be moments where you might judge or blame. And so with yourself, because you have a relationship with yourself, there are going to be moments that you might judge yourself or blame yourself or feel guilt. That's okay. That's normal. There is no relationship that you'll ever have over any extended period of time where you won't feel some of those things. That's okay. So that's the first thing. Let it go. Once you realize that self-love is actually just the byproduct of this relationship with yourself, you can let go of the idea that there won't be ups and downs, that there won't be dynamics of what you feel to yourself and towards yourself in any given moment or on any given day. And so once you give yourself that grace, then you can now move forward into looking at, okay, what are the components that actually lead to a powerful, loving relationship? What goes into the type of relationship where love is the natural byproduct? And for myself, I think it's easiest to just look at the 5 love languages. If you're not familiar with the 5 love languages, you can just go to, I think the website's 5lovelanguages.com. Actually, you could just Google it. There's a test and it's free. And they break down a score for you based on these 5 categories where they feel like these are the most prominent categories of what they call and term your love language. And those categories are words of affirmation, physical touch, gifts, quality time, and acts of service. These are the 5 love languages. And we all have all of them to some degree. And there can be nuance in terms of how you receive love and how you give love might be a little different. However, for the most part, you're going to get a score that's going to tell you how you give and receive love most effectively. And what I mean by that is my number 1 is acts of service. So that means that for me, a great example, I was having conflict with an ex-girlfriend. We were boyfriend, girlfriend at the time. And I was very, very frustrated. I was so frustrated. And we were in a time crunch. We had to leave for the airport in 3 hours. All of this stuff hadn't gotten done, which was why I was frustrated. And so I said, okay, I want to rip my hair out here. And what am I going to do? I'm going to go and do a bunch of the errands that she didn't get done to help her. Because despite the fact that I feel such like in my body right now, it's bringing it back up, just such a intense energy of frustration. My love language, number 1 being acts of service, that was my way of showing my love. And the interesting thing is her love language was physical touch. That's her number 1. And so while I think I'm giving so much love here by going and doing this when I don't really even necessarily want to, that's me showing my love. It would have been received more deeply had I just given her a hug, because her love language is physical touch. But for me, my love language is not physical touch. And therefore, her trying to hug me, I might, in my frustration, go, I don't want to be touched right now. I don't want to be touched right now. And instead would have just much rather appreciated her doing the things that would have made it much easier for us to be on time without the stress. So that's an example from my own life years ago of how the love languages interface. And when you understand your love languages, you understand how to love yourself and someone else better in a way that is able to be received, instead of trying to fit a round peg in a square hole. And so think about your relationship with yourself through the lens of those 5 love languages, and know that all 5 of them are important. So how much physical touch are you giving yourself? How many words of affirmation are you giving yourself? What are the acts of service to yourself? What are the gifts you give yourself? What is the quality time that you spend with yourself? Make no mistake, there is a big difference between being by yourself and spending quality time with yourself. Notice I said it different. Spending quality time with yourself, not by yourself. Because if I am sitting on a couch by myself and I am eating junk food and watching mindless television, scrolling social media, that's not quality time. How do I know that? Would I enjoy someone that I cared about who was supposed to be spending quality time with me doing that? If I invited over a girlfriend and she was just on her phone the whole time, not paying attention to me and just watching TV and scrolling through social media, think about the stereotype of all you women who've dated a man who's into video games. Is it quality time for him to be sitting down playing video games for several hours while you just sit there and watch him play video games? Do you consider that quality time? If you do, awesome. Dudes who are into these video games, go find one of those women. But for most of the people that I've spoken to, that's not quality time. And so therefore, when I look at quality time with myself, what does that mean? It means present, focused, connected time. Time where I'm listening to myself. Time where I'm in communication with my body, with my mind, saying, what do you need right now? What do you want? And then I do those things. Maybe that's playing guitar. Maybe that's stretching. Maybe that's just sitting and looking out at the trees. Maybe that is getting on a call with a friend and saying, wow, this is something that I want to give to myself, is the connection of friendship from someone else. However it looks. And gifts, as an example, when's the last time you gifted yourself something you didn't need? It doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't even have to cost you any money necessarily. What's a gift that you could give to yourself? Not something that you need, like, I need a new body wash, so I went and bought it. But just something extra. I'm gonna treat myself to this. I deserve this. I'm gonna spoil myself a little bit. These ways that we look at showing up for other people that we're in relationship with, through these 5 major love languages, how are we showing up in each of them for ourselves? And so as a tangible takeaway from this, in recognizing that the secret to self-love is in developing a deeper, more loving relationship with yourself, and how you do that is through intentional, focused attention and intention into 5 major areas of love, and you do that for yourself, I want to give you a tangible homework assignment. If you're actually interested in increasing the level of self-love, give yourself 7 full days where you pour into yourself in all 5 ways every single day. You have it mapped out. You are doing something for all 5 love languages for yourself every single day for a week. See how you feel. And notice there will be days where you don't want to do it. Just like there was that moment when I didn't want to give her a hug. And there are going to be weeks where you feel really ashamed of how you showed up because you lost your temper and said some stuff. Awesome. The same way that in relationships, sometimes you feel really hurt by something somebody said, and you carry that for a while until it heals. You are in relationship with yourself. The byproduct of that relationship is self-love if you choose to focus on building that. Take the time to do it. It's so vastly important. And this is why I highly encourage you also find yourself a community that loves you even when you don't feel like you love yourself. Having reflections from people around you where you can say, wow, I do see that they love me. And you can start asking the question, well, what do they see about me? What's worth loving? In deep depression, as someone who's experienced it myself, one of the most common things that we do in the depressive state is isolate. Completely isolate. Why? Because it's tough. It's tough to face off with the truth that we are lovable when we don't feel it. It can be confronting. But when you have people around you that are loving you and showing you and mirroring to you that you are lovable, instead of feeling like, oh, this is in opposition to what I think and therefore it's wrong and I'm going to hide away, actually get curious. What is it about you that's lovable? What do they see in you that you can't see in this moment? Because it's there. They see it. And if you don't have those people around you, if you don't have a community and a tribe that really loves you for who you are right now, then I highly, highly encourage you to check out the Create community, thecreatecommunity.com. It is my online community where we are supporting each other in growing and evolving into the best versions of ourselves and loving each other and having a shit ton of fun along the way. Thank you for being a part of this deep dive tribe. Thank you for doing the work to learn how to love yourself, because it is contagious and you are setting a positive example for everyone else that it is possible, that it is worth doing, and that it's fun. So thank you. I want to remind you that always, in all ways, you are seen, you are heard, and you are loved.